Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I've got more than a few headlines. I've got one about an economist who doesn't understand stablecoins, so we'll dive into that one here in a second. I've got a big one about a 300 Bitcoin donation to Ross Ulbricht, and I've got another headline on Circle. So we'll dive into all of those here in just a second. I've got that stock heat map pulled up like always, and let's get you prepped for some success today. We've got Apple looking a little bit to the downside in the pre-market this morning after a green close, up 0.42 from yesterday, sitting down 0.24 this morning. We've got Nvidia closed up 1.67 from yesterday and is sitting quite neutral this morning, down 0.07. We got Berkshire Hathaway sitting to the downside, closed to the downside as well, down 0.23, and this morning down 0.46. Amazon sitting to the upside from its close, up 0.8, and in the pre-market looking to the downside in that neutral range though, down 0.33. We got Eli Lilly sitting to the upside off of its close as well, up 1.28, and sitting to the downside in the pre-market, down 0.21. We got ExxonMobil up 0.73 and sitting in that neutral range this morning, down 0.36. We got Tesla down 1.09 off of its close, continuing to see some sell-off this morning, down 0.17. We got PNG sitting down 1.24 and looking to the downside this morning as well, down 0.12. We got Microsoft sitting in that neutral range off of its close, up 0.35, looking to the downside this morning though, took back all of those gains, sitting down 0.38. Got Google sitting down 1.43 and sitting down 0.22 in the pre-market. To wrap that on out, we've got Meta sitting up 3.62 and in the pre-market looking to the downside, sitting in that neutral range though, down 0.23. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things because we're seeing quite a bit of green here on this daily. Hype up almost 12% right now. Got Bitcoin sitting up 0.6. We've got Ethereum up 0.53. XRP up 1.2. BNB up 2%. We've got Solana up 4%. Doge up 2.5. We've got Tron sitting up 0.3%. We've got Cardano up 3.8%, Hyperliquid up 12%, taking a spot from Sui in that market cap. We've got Sui sitting up 1.1%, Chainlink up 2.8%, Avalanche up 4.1%. We've got Stellar Lumens up 2.6%. We've got Bitcoin Cash sitting quite neutral, down 0.02%. We've got TON sitting up on that market cap, taking a spot from Leo token and sitting up 3.2%. We've got Leo token up 1.2%, Shiba Inu up 3.7%, and to wrap out the top 20, we've got HBAR sitting up 1.6%. On our fear and greeds for the morning, we are back at that neutral on the stock side of things, down 8 points off of some of that tariff news we got yesterday. Gonna dive into some of that a little bit later in the week. I wanted to focus on some crypto after that Bitcoin conference, which was quite a bit of fun. It was great to see everyone in person. I hope to see y'all at the next one. So we've got that crypto side of things ticking down just a little bit from when what we were at before the Bitcoin conference. We're sitting in greed still, sitting at 64. Let's hop over to that liquidation heat map because we've got a lot of liquidity on both sides right now. We are sitting on top of some liquidity right now at that $105,000 mark, and a bit more to the downside, sitting at 103,400 all the way down to 102,800. That's right above one of my key levels, and we'll kind of take a look at that here in a second when we get over to that chart. We've got a lot of liquidity to the upside as well, so we could see quite a bit of manipulation of that price going in both directions. I do see quite a bit on the charts that could kind of lead to a pump, dump, and kind of another little pump. So we'll kind of dive into that one in a second. Our 24-hour does have quite a bit, ranging from 106, about 500, all the way up to about 107, 300. So quite a broad range to the upside as well. Zoom this on out, take a look at that 3-day, and most of that 3-day is sitting to the bottom side. So if we can clear out some of that bottom side, it does lead us to have quite a bit of liquidity to the top side for a little bit of some pump action. Let's zoom this on out, take a look at that 2-week, and that 2-week does look quite similar to some of the other charts that we have seen, with liquidity both on the bottom side and on the top side here. Both of these are going to be at the tops of the ranges. We have that liquidity at about 112,000, another little batch at 110,000, and this liquidity we're sitting right on top of at about 3,000 there. Zoom this on out a little bit further, take a look at that 3-month, and things are starting to look quite nice. It is very bare on both sides, just a little bit of liquidity to the top side. So might need to see a little bit more cool off, grab some of that shorter term liquidity, and then really see if we can get that pump towards the upside. I see Crypto Billy in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Let me hop over to this economic calendar and get it over to the right week. It has been a little while since I've been on my computer, so it's a little bit behind there. There we go. And looking for the morning, we do have Jolt jobs opening today. That will be at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and that will be a big market mover. Looking like a little bit of a decrease on those Jolts jobs, so a little bit of some data this morning to kind of drop us to that bottom side liquidity, clear some of that out, and then see if we can make that move back to the upside. We have a few Fed chair speeches today. Fed Goolsbee at 12:45 Eastern time, Fed Cook at 1 Eastern time, and 3:30 Eastern time we have Fed Logan speaking. Other than that, it looks like a pretty bare day for data. Let's hop over to this Bitcoin chart and say good morning to the chat, because we've got quite a few people in here. I'm glad you all made it for the return of Good Morning Crypto. We've got Jay Violet in the chat saying good morning to everyone. Good evening to you, madam. Hope you had a great day. We got Caliphant in here. Good morning to you. We've got Donato Cabrera in the chats. Good morning. We've got JR in here, bright and early. Saw you were taking some trades yesterday. Back on that winning streak after that loss. Didn't let it affect you too hard there. We got Dylan VA in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Let's scroll it on down. We got K Diggity. Good morning to you, sir. We've got Crypto Billy. It was great to meet you in Vegas. Hope to see you at the next Bitcoin conference, along with a few of you in the chats. Hopefully we can make you some money this next year so that you can show up to the Bitcoin conference. We've got, I guess that's about it for now. So good morning to all you lurkers in the background, because there's about 6 of you in the chat, and it looks like there's about 10 of you lurking in the background. So good morning to all of you. BC, you getting a watch next year? The BTC watch? Well, depending on what this next year of investing does for me, I would most definitely get one. Because I'm a big fan of watches. I got a watch that I rarely wear. It's for those special occasions. I didn't wear it at the Bitcoin conference because I just didn't even think about it. But definitely going to try to get one next time because those watches looked quite nice. I don't know about the top one though. I'd probably get that skeleton watch because I'm a big fan of skeleton watches. So it looked quite nice on Tradefly's wrist, and it was kind of a big selling point there. So hopefully next year I'm in a little bit better of a financial position to be able to drop a rent check on a watch. So that's basically why I didn't do it this time. Because I could either get a watch or I could pay rent. So I went with paying rent because that's the smart decision there. But potential to triple my income. I just had a job interview yesterday, so we'll see how that goes. We are looking like we're sitting under one of those key levels I've been watching, that 105 800 range. Looks like we're rejecting to the downside off of that. We got a little bit of support sitting right underneath us though at the 50% line on our fib extension. Looking to see if we can come back down to that. There is some liquidity sitting right underneath that, and we've got some strong support at 1025. Our liquidity does not come all the way to 1025 to see us kind of sweep a little bit below our liquidity zone, which is sitting right here below our 50% Fibonacci extension all the way down to this support would kind of be something to watch for. There is a lot of liquidity underneath us, and there is a lot of liquidity to the upside as well. But if you want to be able to have that nice strong pump that continues to the upside, you want to sweep some of this bottom side liquidity there because there is quite a bit of liquidity to the bottom side. You've got your MACD and your prime oscillator both looking a little bit indecisive right now. MACD getting a little bit of some sideways movement, but still making those moves to the downside as we're starting to print some lighter red candles here. We do have our money flow looking quite nice on the daily. Your volume has slowed down quite a bit, so something to keep your eye on is going to be some of that short-term money flow all over again. We do have quite a bit of support to the bottom side, and we've got this strong fair value gap below us as well. So another thing to kind of keep your eye on is if we don't hold up that 102,500, we've got this fair value gap right here that could be a potential closing that we could watch for a potential closing. Bottom side sitting at about 97,800. Nice strong area to kind of watch some buying pressure stepping on back in, and that's where you'd really see that strong boost in money flow on some of those shorter term time frames. You do have that MACD looking like it could potentially get that curvature back to the downside, really bottom out on these indicators and see that nice reversal flash on the daily. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at that 4 hour. This 4 hours getting a little bit toppy here. You've got that curvature here on the MACD looking like it might get that pushback to the downside after this strong double top here at 106 and see a little bit of continuation to the downside to sweep some of that top side liquidity. Money flow is in the red here as volume has slowed up quite a bit as well. We've got that reversal signal that is flashed and that prime oscillator still sitting in the green for now, but getting that strong curvature back to the downside. I will be watching some of these shorter term time frames to see if we get that money flow continuation or if we continue to see a little bit of sell off here. You do have the 1 hour looking quite similar as well, with your MACD sitting below our indicator line here, getting that slight sideways momentum, but not enough to really kind of hold things up. You might see a little brief pump in the morning as we get to that 15-minute, but looking like you are seeing some slow up on both money flow and volume here as well. Volume is quite a bit lower than it was over here, where we saw all of this nice continuation of higher highs and a brief equal low here. So that's that area we would look for that sweep below, kind of clear out the liquidity, and then try to continue back to the upside on 15-minute. Looking kind of nice for a pump for the morning, as you do have that reversal signal that has flashed. You do have a nice green money flow here. Volume's a little bit low, so we would want to watch for that volume to kind of increase a little bit as that money flow maintains some of that green. Looking like we're just seeing that nice little slow up for a bottom side liquidity sweep. We do have all of this liquidity that is sitting right below our current price action at about 105, seeing if we can kind of clear that out, get a nice little pump towards the upside, and then continue on down to clear out this liquidity down here before we really get that stronger move towards the upside. That would cool off that daily, cool off that 4 hour just a little bit more, and kind of see if we can continue towards the upside and maybe some all-time highs again. Let's see. We've got Kelefant asking for Sol. We can most definitely take a look at some Solana. Let me get that on the list. Any other requests we've got for some TA, go ahead, throw it out there, and we will definitely take a look at it. Crypto Billy saying, join my Discord. I put some stuff in there. A part of that. Let's get that link. There we go. Billy Goat Tails. Invite. Copy that link. There we go. Dropping that link in there. If you're not a part of that Discord, definitely should be. They do quite a bit in the Discord there. Let's hop over to some of these news articles. I've got quite a few. Quick blast through though. We've got Ross Ulbricht receives $31,400,000. This was a 300 Bitcoin donation to Ross Ulbricht after the conference. So something I just thought was kind of interesting. People throwing away a little bit of money there. Ross Ulbricht. Not really going to dive too far into it, but I will be dropping a video here on both my X and on the Piper Academy. I got to see Ross speak in person. I thought it was amazing. That was the man that really got me into Bitcoin, and so I'm going to drop a little bit from his speeches. It really took me by surprise, and was quite happy to hear him speak. We've got Tao requested TAO. Moondeg, I will leave alone unless I've got some time, because I've never taken a look at it. So it'll be a naked chart, and that takes a little bit longer to get through. This was the big one that I was kind of watching, though. We've got Nobel Prize winning economist says stablecoins don't serve any clear useful function. Coinmetrics co-founder disagrees, and so do I. So, American economist Paul Krugman, who won the Nobel Prize in 2008, believes that stablecoins do not have any practical utility. In a May 30th blog post entitled Digital Corruptions Take Over DC, Krugman opened that stablecoins don't serve any clear useful function, adding, stablecoins, can't be used to make ordinary purchases, and there's nothing you can do with them that can't be done more cheaply or more easily with debit cards, Venmo, Zelle, and wire transfers, etc. Therefore, Krugman questioned why anyone would not just use the US dollar instead of using tokens that are supposedly backed by the dollar. According to Krugman, stablecoins offer one feature that traditional modes of payment do not, and that's anonymity. The anonymity associated with stablecoins deposits is a value feature for miscreants looking to commit crimes. from money laundering and extortion to purchases of illegal drugs, he wrote, adding, in other words, the only economic reason for stablecoins is to facilitate criminal activity, which I have to strongly disagree with. If you're going to say that the only use for a stablecoin is to commit crimes, why would you do that with something that keeps heavy documentation of the transaction and is easily tracked back to the source of where it came from? This is that same argument that everyone used with Bitcoin. Look at all these criminals that are using Bitcoin to do all of these. You're talking about a small minority of users. That's the same thing we found out with Bitcoin because, anyone who has semi-intelligence and understands the fact that Bitcoin is actually a ledger and you can see the exact transaction, kind of where it came from, and it's very easy to kind of pinpoint who owns that wallet if you really dive back into it far enough. That's not really what you would want to use if you're committing crimes. If you're wanting to commit crimes, you would want to use cash money. So just did a little bit that I thought was interesting. His other kind of big thing there where it can be done more cheaply with debit cards and Venmo and Zelle and wire transfers isn't necessarily true either. You've got debit cards where you have to pay a 3% transaction fee on every purchase. I can move USDC way cheaper on Solana. You're talking about I can spend a penny and move hundreds of dollars. So I think he's just a little bit behind the times and isn't fully understanding, which is something you see quite a bit in crypto. You've got stablecoin issuer Circle targets 7.2 billion valuation in an upsized US IPO. Let's zoom this one in so you can read it along with me. This is something I've been following. I know Piper's been following it along as well. So let's dive on into this. We've got Circle. Internet said on Monday it was targeting a valuation of 7.2 billion on a fully diluted basis in its upside US initial public offering, underscoring growing momentum in the stablecoin market. The upsized IPO indicates strong investor appetite for crypto firms. U.S. President Donald Trump has not only promised friendlier regulations for the sector, but also sparked conflict of interest concerns due to several crypto projects associated with him. Issues regarding meme coin hype, and more specifically Trump ventures into a namesake coin, should not directly affect the outlook of stable backed by hard currency. Michelle Ashley Schumann, Chief Investment Officer of Running Point Capital, said stablecoins are designed to maintain a constant value, usually a 1-to-1 dollar peg, and are commonly used by crypto traders to move funds between tokens. New York stable issuer Circle and some existing investors are now looking to raise $896 million from 32 shares priced between $27 and $28 apiece, up from an earlier offer of $24 million with shares between $24 and $26. Circle's denominated USDC is the second largest stablecoin in the world, is expected to benefit from the pending stablecoin bill. The upsizing feels like regulatory clairvoyance and more like a calculated bet that even a slow-moving bill won't derail the global payment story they're selling, Schulman added. Circle's reserve income is its primary source of revenue from interests on treasuries backing its USDC coin, rose 55.1% to $557 million in the quarter ending on March 31st. But distribution and transaction costs for the period jumped 68.2%, outpacing revenue growth for Circle, which distributes USDC primarily via its partnerships with Coinbase. Definitely going to be watching this IPO. Might be dropping some stuff on this when it comes out. I will play my normal IPO game where we buy at the beginning, we sell off at some tops, and then we buy back in when it kind of establishes that bottom. I will be dropping a little bit more on this in the Discord. So if you are not a member of the Piper Academy Discord, it's very cheap. You pay for that YouTube membership, you get full access to our Discord. Let me get that link for you there. Someone let me know if it works. If you're not a part of that Discord and you want to join there, go ahead, click that link, and you will get a lot of value for your $5 that you're spending. We've got a nice little DCA plan. JR in the chats drops a lot of TA setups. That man is a beast when he follows his rules. I know he said he's back to following his rules there. So when he's following those rules, his setups are a plus. Let's see. Tau seems more predictable. I signed the petition to get him out, also donated to his legal fund, and there he was standing there talking to us. It was unreal. Most definitely. That was one of the better speeches I saw at the Bitcoin conference. Really liked Saylor's speech as well, although I'm not the biggest fan of his Bitcoin buying plan. But that's neither here nor there. If he makes it through the bear market, I'm all in on strategy. Let's see. Scroll it on down. I'll come in, chat it up, says JR. Yep. Let's hop over to some of these assets I've been looking at. Been taking a look at gold. There we go. Right chart there. Gold getting a little bit of some pullback after a little bit of a push towards the upside. Broke some of that resistance I had been looking for that potential for a coming back down all the way to our resistance line to kind of retest that and get that stronger push towards the upside. We do have very strong resistance at $3,430 still. We've got this 236, which is sitting right below us at $3,345. That'd be another area to kind of watch for. A little bit of a zone for some bouncing to see some continuation to the upside. This hourly does look like you will see a little bit of some continued sell-off as your money flow is getting a little bit of some rollover here. MACD and Prime Oscillator both pointing to the downside, and volume starting to slow up a little bit as well. This daily is looking quite nice for a little bit of some continuation if we can see some nice strong cool off though. That's something I will be watching for. Daily money flow extremely flat here as we're kind of making another little higher low. So might have to move this trend line if we really confirm this lower high and see if we can make it a little bit lower to cool off some of these oscillators. MACD looking like we've got that potential for some continuation to the downside as well. Redmond likes to explore too. Oh yeah. That was another interesting person to talk to in person. I enjoyed that conversation quite a bit. He has quite a bit of insight on daily life. So that man has some life experience behind him. Let's hop over to your alt request here. We had Solana and Tau. So let's pull that. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Let's hop over to Solana here. There we go. Solana sitting at 160, looking like it found that resistance at one of those key levels I had looked for. We got a little bit of some wicking action above that, kind of clear out some of this liquidity that would have been sitting above these candle bodies. As you can see here, that would have been where some some stop losses would have been set, and you've got that nice strong wicking action almost up to the 382 there before we really drop back down. Found some support at 151, which is another key level I had drawn out, and we're sitting right above the 50% fib on a retracement here. The daily looking like you might be seeing some pump if we can get that money flow back in the green here. That's that one big if. We might need to wait a little bit longer, see this daily cool off just a little bit more, wait for a second reversal signal to really flash here. Our volume is extremely low, money flow looking like it could roll over as well. We've got your MACD line breaking below our 0 line as well, printing a light red candle here on the daily, kind of waiting to see if that money flow comes in on our shorter term time frame to see if we can potentially keep this as a light red candle. If not, this might switch over to a heavy red candle. We do have very strong support below us at 151 though, so some to kind of keep your eye on for some bottom side. We are sitting almost back to the middle of this range. Let's see what that 4 hour is looking like here. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, where it does look quite toppy. You've got that very red money flow here as well. Kind of waiting to see if we can get that volume to increase and that money flow to continue to slow up on that selling pressure. You do have a little bit of resistance up to the top side at about 163 with some strong support down at that 155. So looking like we're moving a little bit sideways here with that nice strong little push off of this 50% line to see if we can get that push back up to 163 there. Money flow still looking red here. Might see those reversal signals start flashing after a little bit more continuation to the upside. You do have that hourly sitting red on your prime oscillator. Your MACD looking like it's got some room to kind of continue here as your money flow is green on the hourly. Volume just starting to pick back up, but we do have that strong resistance at 163. So that's something to kind of watch for as we bump up against that. See this MACD and prime oscillator getting that curvature back towards the upside to see if we can break through 163 or if that comes in as some resistance all over again. Let's zoom this on in, see what the 15-minute and the morning are bringing our way. And that's where we've got that MACD crossing our indicator line. You've got a very, very strong money flow here, but your volume slowed up while it was doing so. And this is why you've got that nice, strong sideways momentum on top of our 50% line on that Fibonacci retracement. Kind of watching to see if we can at least hold that up as some support. That's 157 to see if we can get up above 164. That'd be that next little area to kind of watch for. We do have some resistance as well at about 169. So that'd be that next level towards the upside for the short term on Solana. A little bit of a range there as well. Let me get that actually lined up a little bit better there. There we go. We've got a nice 3 touches at about 169. So that's something to kind of watch for if we can get above 160 or about 164 there. Let's see what the chat's saying. I didn't see Piper one time at the shows. His meetup was during our space, so we couldn't make it. And the rest of the time, everyone told me he was gambling. Yeah, he had that more of a vacation. He was there to meet his people, kind of interact with people outside of the Bitcoin conference. So I think he showed up on industry day when there wasn't a whole bunch of people there. We did some walking around. He got to see some of the sites, and I think that about fulfilled his wants for the Bitcoin conference. He mostly wanted to spend some time with his wife before moving, so they ate at several nice restaurants. He always made sure to send me a little picture of the nice food he was eating. So, yeah, he had a lot of fun, but it was more the casual fun with his wife. He wanted more of that vacation, which I'm kind of jealous of. I was I was in there trying to make some connections, and one of these times I'm gonna have to do it the Piper way, and take a little more time for me. I'm still in that grind mode though. Piper is a little bit older than me. He's about my dad's age, so he can slow it down just a little bit, not put in all the work all the time. Kick it back, relax. He's got the portfolio you would expect to see of someone that age, so allows you a little more freedom. He wasn't as worried about putting that work in, so we've got we've got the rest of the Piper Academy still trying to get to that Piper level on their portfolios. So hopefully next time I can do a little more Piper style on the Bitcoin conference, and take a little more time for me. Take the missus out to a few very, very nice restaurants, because some of that food looked really, really good. I just can't justify this current time in my life spending like $500 on a meal, and some of those restaurants had some pretty pricey tickets on it. So eventually we will get there. Let's take a look at Tau. I'm pretty sure I got that in my favorites down here. Scroll it on down. Let's see. There we go. We've got Tau getting a nice little rejection off an area I was watching. Let's scroll it on out. Take a look at that 4 hour. Might have a chance to look at Moondag as well for you, JR. So scroll this on out to the daily. We've got us making a nice little double top in here. This one a little bit lower, which means we do have a little bit of liquidity sitting up at this 382. That's almost $500 there. Something to kind of keep your eye on. Oh, we've got Jesse in the chat. Oh, I guess Jesse got sleep, but he didn't need that much sleep. So good morning, Jesse. BC, we will go to Bangkok for massage. Oh my God, JR. Maybe eventually. Let's see. We ate at Hell's Kitchen. I still grinded BC. I will pull his leg. Yeah, give him it. Give him all the hard times, because I wish I could have spent a little more time with Piper too. But as you get to a certain point in life, you kind of want to slow it down. And I'm jealous, but I've still got quite a bit of grinding to do before I can get to the Piper level of we just chill it back and do what we want. So we've got Tau here looking like you could see some continuation to the downside. Daily looking like the MACD has that potential to cross our zero line as we're starting to print heavy red candles all over again. Looking to that zero line, we've got a reversal signal that has flashed, but your volume and your money flow look extremely red here. Got a divergence that is stacked up as well here, looking to potentially see that play out. We've got your golden pocket as some strong support as well down here at 327. I would kind of watch to see what happens at about 350 though. That's a level I have marked out. We got a lot of touches from the top side, from the bottom side here. We got those nice strong touches off of it, and that was that pump area. So kind of a nice little level to come back down to. We've got some liquidity sitting underneath that as well. So if we're going to sweep that bottom side liquidity on Bitcoin as well as some of these alts, I'd look for those strong areas of support. Let's kind of zoom this on in. See what the hourly and the day might be bringing our way here. Tau does look like you could potentially see a little bit of some pump for the day, but overall continue to at least make a lower high as we've been making this entire time here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower macro low, lower macro low. So potential to at least pump back up to that 50% line, about $415. See that as a little bit of some resistance, and then continue on down to sweep all of the liquidity that is sitting underneath here. We do have very strong support at about that 350 mark, so that's kind of what I'd watch for there. 15-minute and the morning looking like you could also see that continuation to the upside at about that 414 mark. You do have two reversal signals that have flashed. You've got a divergence, a bullish divergence here as well, and your volume is just starting to increase. So I'd watch that money flow, see if we can get up to 414, see if that money flow continues in the green before I'd really cement either way, whether we're going back up to kind of break some of these highs or if we'd be going back down to about that 350 mark. You can do better. Put our money in ADA. Oh my God, Jesse, I will not be putting any of my money in ADA. That is not my investment style. I know plenty of people love ADA. I'm neither a hater or a lover of ADA. I just have seen it underperform a lot of these other assets there. So next cycle, when we get to the bear market, I'll be breaking down what I'd be looking at for next cycle. But Bitcoin and some of those Bitcoin forks are looking quite nice. Maybe a few of these Dino coins as well. Let's take a quick look at Moondeg on on a shorter term time frame to kind of see what JR is talking about there. We'll pull this from the hourly, see what we'd be looking at for a fib, what kind of fib levels we'd be looking to hit. All right, we've got from the lows to the high there. We'll just go off of this, see where we're sitting. Looking like we got a little rejection off of that 382, sitting quite heavily underneath it as both your MACD and your prime oscillator are getting that curvature, money flow in the red, volume in the green. So waiting to see if we can kind of see that switch of money flow back into the positive there. You've got very strong support, a very strong support area you kind of watch for at about 20 cents. That's where you saw all of these rejections from. Let's kind of see if we can get that continuation push to the upside, sweep some of the top side liquidity at about 23 cents. That's where we saw some nice strong resistance. I would expect to see some liquidity up above here. That would be a nice area for a sweep to continue back down on, as we have been making macro lower highs. You can zoom this on out, and this is all lower highs here. We have been making lower lows as well, so would really need to see us find some strong support on some bottoms. Let's zoom this on in, take a look at the 15-minute and see what the morning might be bringing our way. 15-minute, a little bit battered down here. We are sitting below our indicator line on our MACD, looking like we might reject off of it all over again here. And your prime oscillator also getting that curvature back to the downside, but it is sitting green here. So watch that money flow as your volume is extremely low to kind of see if you can get that push back up, sweep the liquidity, and then come back down. It is about that time though to head over towards that morning motivational video. I appreciate every single one of you for showing up. Make sure to tune in to the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report with that OC takeover. We've got trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern time and markets after dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. I hope to see y'all in the chats, and I hope y'all have a great day. Make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.